Whatever you run to in times of chaos, that is where you see what your God is. That when the shaking comes, what you run to reveals to you who your master truly is. And so we look at demonic influence in the lives of Christians. And Christians, we're the last people to want to believe that we could be influenced by the enemy. But it shows up in your marriage. Many marriages are failing because people are not able to discern their thought life. You're having a good time, and then all of a sudden the enemy starts projecting the images to you. These things, a conversation that was had a year ago, but it was not resolved. Then you start asking your husband, you know what, last year you said this. What did you mean by it? Fight starts. Because of how you see women empowerment and feminism in films and on television. Now when women hear the word submission, it sounds like slavery. They say, no, I don't do that. And the marriage is over before it ever started. And so when the enemy can bring his culture into your programming, you don't realize how already you're being shaped to model a different kingdom, yet you call yourself a Christian. Any area of your life that is not according to the standard of God, you have to bring that before the altar. God, where did corruption come in and I did not know it? Even when you think about music, do you know that there are certain songs that before they record it, they have a ceremony? These are not the things that are exposed to you. But there are certain songs that before it's recorded, they have their own ceremony to Satan. The same way that when we, as believers, when we worship the Lord, sometimes when you're in prayer, you begin to hear chants, you begin to hear melodies that begin to come in, and you're worshiping God before you ever release that melody. That in the demonic, there's ceremonies that take place and there are chants that come from the demonic realm. And just like Pastor said, you're doing a dance, but you don't realize that that dance in itself is a form of worship to a deity. And so when you begin to do it, you're in agreement. You're showing that, hey, I look like you. Have access. You will be surprised that some of the chaos that people experience in their lives, if they were to ask the Lord, where did I open the door? It would look like something mundane. As I was praying for you, the Lord showed me a lady who has a serious fear of death. It's crippling you. But the reality is that what opened that door was a film you watched. And that's where it came in. You cannot be exposed like that. You see, something the Lord began to teach me about demonic spirits. Number one, when you think about racism, there is it's hard to understand racism in the natural because it's not natural at all. That someone can just hate you because of your skin color. The spirit behind racism is a demonic spirit, right? Point blank. But the same way, that spirit speaks to how Satan sees you and his kingdom. When demons see you, they hate you. You are only good to be their slave. They only see you as one that should be their slave. And the worst thing that a believer can do is come in agreement with something that sees you as a slave. They want you to be a slave to lust. They want you to be a slave to immorality. They want you to be a slave to masturbation. And then you're struggling with it, not because it's not just that you're saying, God, take this away from me. You love it. And you love what someone else is experiencing through you. A spirit is expressing themselves through you, and you're saying, I'm comfortable here, yet you're asking God for change. You see, until you hate your bondage, there's no way out. You cannot love what keeps you bound. And there's something the Lord began to show me again about demonic spirits, which really blows my mind. Matthew 12:43 says this: when an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places seeking rest and finds none. So when the spirit was in a man, that was his resting place.